a new VMFA format today as well called Real Stories, Real Solutions. So if you've joined us in the past or meetings, we would typically focus on one singular social determinant of health per meeting, having panelists talk about those resources as they relate to the topic. But this new format we're hoping will bring in lived experiences and provide kind of a new perspective of how we can bridge together all different social determinants of health to actually care for real people as it relates to any of the challenges that they're going through. So that's the goal of this new format. So we hope it works out well. I'll also be sending out a survey. So if you're here, I'd love your feedback on how this goes and if you like this style or if you have recommendations for other topics or things we could do with this, because the Greater Triangle VMFA is a collaborative effort. It takes all of us and it is supposed to serve everyone here. So I want to make sure it works for all. I don't have my VMFA notes in front of me because I have the Zoom screen up. But the objectives of the Greater Triangle VMFA are to connect veteran serving organizations, other community leaders, military connected individuals with their spouses, dependents, caregivers, or anybody to local resources or to each other to better collaborate and fill in gaps in resources as we see them. But we are going to go ahead and just get started with introductions around the room. And during your introduction, if you have one, you could share one recent win that you've experienced. So my name is Landry Young. I'm the Operation Connect Program Manager at the Dole Fund. My husband is currently serving at Fort Bragg, and my recent win, I would say, is I'm going to steal the Dole Center. We opened up the Dole Center a month ago, so.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Brooke Dickhart, the Executive Director of the Dole Fund. My military connection is that my dad was in the Navy, and my recent win is that I just came back from vacation. So that's my win.
A good long vacation.
Adam Raver, I would be a career specialist with the homeless program there, specifically that Bash, retired Army. And I guess my recent win is I am almost done closing on a townhome. So I will have a place to live soon. That's good.
Great win. I love it.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Cunningham. I'm with Aging in Place, North Carolina. We are certified aging in place specialists and help individuals and families stay safe and comfortable and independent in their homes. We are all CAPS certified. I'm a military staff, so my husband is a Marine Corps.
Everybody likes Val Ayers. I'm the owner of Pathfinder Radius LLC. We do transitional support, peer support, and I take the records and I make them digital so they can access them across the board. Army veteran, and win for me is a couple months I'll be taking these in and be accredited VA client specialist.
Nice. Good to know.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Donna Johnson, Navy veteran. Last time Navy lanyard somewhere around.
Yes, right here.
See, there you go. Okay, Navy veteran. Right now, I instruct at Roseville High School, the Cadet Corps program, which is like a umbrella under NJROTC. My recent win this past weekend, the second granddaughter. Today is her birthday, but we celebrated her 1-year-old birthday this weekend, and nobody passed out in Jacksonville, Florida Heat.
Can I just give another win? How many cadets do you have registered for signed up for next fall?
So next year, last year we had 35 kids that stayed on what's called a 4x4 block, which means they take after classes part of the year, the other half the second part of the year. So I had 35 kids that stayed for 2 years, so it's one school year. Next year I have 90 new kids. Like, I wasn't mean enough. Like, In church,
So excited. That is huge, huge.
90 new kids. I was like, okay, let's go.
It's awesome. I'm Jessica Stremo. I run Back in the Saddle Equine Services for Heroes. We provide equine therapy for veterans, their families, the children, whoever has exhibited or expressed surviving trauma at this point. We just recently moved our program to Wendell, so that is kind of a big win. And then, more importantly than that, one of my recent clients communicated with me that she was undergoing a panic attack and was able to access memories that she had from working with our horse, which helped her get through her moment. So yeah, that's awesome. I love it. My name is Victoria Knott. I'm the care coordinator here at the Joel Fund. My military connection is my father, who was a Marine. And I have to say the big win revolves around him. Finally was able to get him involved and accepted with accessible Raleigh transportation. He'll be 91 this year and needs to be off the road to make Raleigh safer. And it was big to get him to agree to that and to get him accepted into that program was a huge win. Huge win.
I'm Carla Jackson. I'm the Veteran Services Supervisor with Wake County Veteran Services. I do all things housing with veterans with the county. I am a Navy veteran, and my big win is that both of my stepsons are under one roof right now, and I had 5 glorious days off to hang out with them, and I enjoyed every second.
That's awesome.
I'm Long, full-time caregiver. It started about 10 years ago. It was part-time, no big deal. So the last 4 years have been full speed. And then you don't have any class on caregiving. You're thrown in this blind. And then I finally met with your organization, and then Jasmine has been great help for me. The only problem we have is everybody tells you, well, have to rest. When? Unfortunately, we moved here. Fortunately and unfortunately, we moved here to be with our son and grandkids, but they had, because of work, they had to move to the West Coast. So we're alone. So I don't have any family or anything except the church family, but asking your brother to come and help versus asking a stranger to come and help, for me, it's a huge handicap. So right now I'm in up to here. But when I went to a few of your meetings, I found out that mine is not so dramatic. There are some women that are really, really in a lot of pain. So I thank God for that. My big win, I finally understood that I need to rest. So I asked for help. And then I have a friend, she said, and believe it or not, it's not really the activity that we need because we're physically very tired. It's 24/7. Mine is not so bad because it's sleep, it's night and everything, but we want a place to not doing anything, breathe, look at something beautiful. I want to read, I read. I don't want to talk, I don't talk for just one day or something like that. It's not, everybody thinks that they need to take you shopping. Please don't tell me go shopping. Everybody tells you, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, I want to be on an island for 12 hours. And that's it. So that's my story. My big win is that I finally understood I need help. And then this afternoon, believe it or not, I had a meeting, but this afternoon I'm going in the pool. That's what I said. My other big win is that it has been the VA, really, Jasmine, and finally understood. And we have a new person that came to the house today, and I think she'd be absolutely fantastic for that 6 hours a week for me. So I will be able to, I can leave it with her. Not that is debilitating, but he has congestive heart failure and this and that. He was a Korean veteran, so he's 93. And then, so he has a lot of problems, stability and breathing, and so, but other than that, he's a great guy, and your sweetheart, so. You got it.
Well, and we'll come back to Aline here in just a little bit, but thank you for sharing that. We're gonna jump online real quick. So if you hopped in during introductions, we are sharing your name, the organization you're representing, your military affiliation, and if you have a big win recently. So let's go over to Marjorie.
Hi, I am Marjorie Healy. Says Pennington, but I just transferred to Healy, so I apologize. Don't mean to confuse anybody. I am the Director of Resource Navigation and Financial Assistance with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. I am a former caregiver to my Vietnam veteran father and my former spouse. I'm also an Elizabeth Dole Fellow from 2017. The Elizabeth Dole Foundation focuses on supporting military and veteran caregivers. And for a personal win, I just entered into my master's program to obtain my MBA.
Eric?
I think I heard my name. I'm not sure. My name is Eric Bell. I am currently a management analyst for the Office of the Secretary for the Department of Health and Human Services. My affiliation is my wife and I are both retired Air Force. I want to say, put this on record. She outranked me then. She outranks me now. One of the biggest, I think the biggest win I have personally is my son is finally in his last year after coaching him along at App State. So in the next 6 months, he's going to be out of my pocket and into the real world.
Randy?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Randy Silver. I'm with excuse me, with NC Works Veteran Services, which provide employment services for veterans. I am a Army retiree. I guess one of the wins, every day is a win for me. So if I can pinpoint something, I'm gonna start vacationing on Monday.
Where are you going?
My wife and I were just gonna do a road trip. We're gonna go up to Niagara Falls for a day, gonna drive over into Toronto, maybe Montreal, and come back through Ohio, stopping to see my brother-in-law, then going over to Chicago to look at President Obama's museum and coming on back.
So you'll have pictures to show us at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Carrie?
Hi, everyone. Carrie White, Army veteran, married an Army veteran, and we have 9 kids. 7 of our 9 have served or they're currently serving one branch of the military or another. And I'm in 2018, so I'm a year behind you, Marjorie, Elizabeth Dole Foundation Fellow for North Carolina. And I'm also an ambassador for hyperbaric oxygen therapy for Heroes, HBOT for Heroes, which is right here in Briar Creek area. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm ashamed this is my first meeting joining. But Brooke, it's good to see you. You look great, and everyone else. Glad to be here.
Good to see you, Carrie.
Caroline?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Caroline Griffin, and I'm with the Durham VA Caregiver Support Program. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I am also a Navy spouse, and my win is an unexpected surgery this summer that derailed my plans, but I want to share that I am healed and healthy and glad I bought the travel insurance for our summer vacation plans, so all is well now.
Good, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And Nicole? Nicole, we can come back to you. Oh, there you go.
That's okay. Sorry about that. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So my name's Nicole Bilbo. I'm the executive director for Stand Beside Them. I'm excited to be here today. I am a military spouse, and our big win for Stand Beside Them is that we just completed a month-long, very new Steps for Vets challenge for us, and it was the first time we've done it, and we had over almost 90 participants through 15 states. So we're very excited to share that, and we offer free professional coaching for veterans, transitioning service members, spouses, and caregivers. And so happy to be here.
Nicole? Alrighty, I'm gonna lower this. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So with this new format, what we're going to do is we're gonna talk to Aline, learn more about her experiences as a caregiver, and then we're gonna jump in and talk to some of the experts in the room. So Jessica, Marjorie, and Caroline, and kind of just discuss resources for caregivers and how we can all show up better for them. So this new format, again, is called Real Stories, Real Solutions, and today's overall topic is supporting the hidden heroes, which are our veteran caregivers. So Aline, you talked a little bit about your in your introduction. Can you share more about your journey of becoming a caregiver?
Okay, it was transitional. Well, first I had to leave my career. It was an overnight thing. But then it was not so bad, and suddenly more and more it was progressive, and I didn't realize I became a full-time caregiver, believe it or not. And then with meeting with the people at the VA, they suddenly said, well, you know, you could be in the respite. I'm sorry, that's my advanced language. So the respite program was really great for me. Yes and no, because my husband, I've always taken care of him. He's really spoiled. So having somebody else take care of him was a big thing. So the first it didn't work. I mean, it was 3 times, it just didn't work. So I keep on going, and it was more and more. And then the last 4 years have been quite difficult, but now he has somebody, and he has finally familiarized with the fact that I cannot be there all the time. And I must thank my niece for that. Her husband, her dad passed, and she was also caregiver. So one day she talked to my husband, just conversation, and she finally explained, you know, Uncle Ellen, this is what happened, and she needs to rest. And it did its thing. And suddenly he understood. So now we have a full session for the first time this year at 120, and then we're starting a new one today. The only thing that first I'm privileged to have had that service, because being alone, I was so lost, and we get so much information. The first time that I met with the program, I had so much information that I didn't know where to start. So I think that I don't know. I'm a person that like to have a sheet of paper. So okay, this, because it comes from everywhere. You know, the website here, the website there, the this and that. If I would have a sheet, okay, now you're in this program, A, B, C, D, A, and then when they come to it, talk to us. We can explain things to them, and then they can say, well, okay, you're gonna do this and do this and do that. But it was all kind of, you talk to the people and you make notes, but okay, 2 days later, because you haven't had the chance to do anything, you look and say, what did she mean, or what did they mean? So this was a little thing. It's like I heard someone mention the name transition support. I think a caregiver should have a transition support, meaning where do we go from here? What, first of all, you lose your life. Okay, I'll tell you, anybody that is a full-time caregiver do not have a personal life anymore. It's the other person. So we need a transition for us too. I mean, where do I go from here? What do I do in my life? And then suddenly you wake up after a year or two and you say, what do I do? Where do I go? And then there's no change. You cannot make any change. So a transition support program may be a good thing. I know that Jasmine has done a fantastic job for us, but she gives us a lot of information. Then you have to take that class to be a caregiver. And then you have to do this and that between everything, the doctor's office, the driving here and there, the care on top of that. So that was one thing. And I listened to all of you. I'm going on vacation. So I said, wow, wouldn't that be nice? At the beginning, I could take him with us, with me, but right now, He has the oxygen 24/7. I cannot push a wheelchair to go to the beach. I cannot go to my niece 6 hour. I used to go driving 6 hour. I drove 12 hours by myself to go to Canada many times, but now I cannot do that. So there's no vacation time. And I was wondering, are there facility where a caregiver could say, I really need 3 days? Because if you need 3 days, then you have to put that in a budget. And then, or if you need a week, if you go out there, it's an aging population right now, and it's a big business. Okay, between you and I, we all know it's a big business. So a caregiver is super expensive. I'm fortunate enough that I'm okay, but I've seen a lot of caregivers that cannot afford even people to come to their home. So I personally would like to say once a year, can I just have 3 or 4 days and have it being sure my husband will be okay? So that's another thing that I feel like I don't know where to go. I'm not saying it's not done. Trust me, I'm not criticizing anybody. I just don't know what to do and where to go. And then so that was one thing. What else? I know you will think that is kind of a little too much. You have a crisis line. There should be some place where we call when we're really down and when we don't see the end of it. And then a friend, she will always say yes to you. She will always grab you. But where you can call and this person doesn't know you too much, but she will ask you the right question, you will vent, and suddenly you feel better. Because there are things in our lives, you get at the end of the day, I should not have been impatient. Why have I said that? I shouldn't do that. And I have a great guy, don't get me wrong. And I know a lot of women that are in the program that do not have nice guys because they have, a lot of problems. So I think that if a caregiver could grab a line, make a phone call and say, I can't take this anymore. And then somebody could talk to them and talk to them. Within 10 minutes, that person will be feeling better. I think that would be a great addition. So, and then also, especially in my case, I have no family, nothing, because I don't have any family here in Canada or in the West Coast or in Georgia. So, and then in my age group, nobody can drive that much. So, even calling that line and she said, well, we can do this or we can do that or whatever. But a lifeline would be good for a caregiver. I'm one of the lucky one because I have good neighbors, super good neighbors and a good church, but I know there's a lot of women, they don't have that when they move here. So
Yeah, that's a great point. Could you share, so you've mentioned, needing, some time just for yourself. Are there other needs, that you're experiencing or challenges to, your care that you're experiencing?
No, as a matter of fact, like I said, we have great care. And then he has all the doctor, he has the VA doctor, but I also am able to go around with the GP very close so that I don't have to drive an hour to go to the VA. So in my case, it's okay. We have good care. So I don't see, I'm perfectly fine with the care.
Okay, yeah, great. Are there any other, like roadblocks to resources or just things that you wish that you had access to or knew that you had access to earlier on?
That's something that I did not have enough information, and I don't blame anybody because if I would have had that information, it would have probably get lost in that stack of information. I don't know if there's a way of, okay, she's a caregiver, this is what, a kind of a resume of things. I know that there's a bunch of phone numbers that you can call, and then it's not always easy to reach people. That's another thing. It's changing though. I must admit there's been a lot of progress. I mean, when I first started 4 or 5 years ago, it was different. Now we can have better answer, quicker answer. So, but I wish we could, I know it's almost impossible, kind of a resume of what are your needs? You start that, so you will need this and that, and here's a line. Here's that number that you need to call, whatever happened to you. You know, if you can't find something, or if you're distressed, or if you're tired, or if you can't find what you need from the VA, I think it would be just one place where we can find everything at the beginning. So I don't know if it's helpful, but
I am curious though, something I would love to touch on, having just gone through a lot of this with my stepdad. You talk about this transition support. Could you give an example of what would have been helpful maybe 4 years ago versus like now I know you're talking about like a vacation and stuff like that. Like what would have been an example of something maybe earlier on that could have helped? Because I would like to get an idea of what that transition could look like and how people can help at different points of that timeline.
Well, for example, at the beginning, anybody that would get the service, the respite service, maybe somebody could come and spend a day with that person and say, this is exactly how it is. I just learned today, believe it or not, of the thing that a person from this group can do for me. I mean, some of them will come, they're very good people, but some of them will come and bring their homework. If they're studying. Some other will come. Right now, I have one who has been with that group for 13 years. I mean, she did the dishes before I left. I mean, the little lunch dishes. And she said, well, Mrs. Long, you're supposed to have that. See, I didn't know that. They probably told me among all this thing that but when they do in the transition, for example, with respite, the people that come to our house to say, okay, they asked me what my husband needed and what he wants, and he's very independent and all that. So I explained, but I wish somebody would have said, this is your day. You do the dishes, you don't need your bed, you don't do anything. When they come to my house, the beds are made, the lunch are prepared for my husband and all that. Well, I spent half the day all the way to 10 o'clock to do that. When I was supposed to say, hey, today is my day also. I can wake up and do things with my husband and prepare his breakfast, but then after that I can go. And I was not very lucky this time because the first 2 months I had so many things I caught up in my resting day. And this is one thing we shouldn't do. I caught up with everything for them. I caught up, my day of rest, I go to the dealership. So I guess in this transition, I would like to have a better understanding of what they are giving us. And then after that, so what does your husband need? But you, what do you need?
Mm-hmm.
Know that here, our job is to take the bed that day. You don't fix the lunch, or tell us what he wants to do, or if he will do it himself, or whatever. They have those sheets and then it's all little notes. I mean, some people come and they say, hi, how are you? They sit down with chit chat. I tell them what he likes and doesn't like, and that's it. So, so the transition should be that the people that are dealing with the caregiver should really be clear in what they should expect. Not just little box, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, but expect. Because we're kind of, probably it's a personality thing, but we're kind of embarrassed to have somebody do your dishes or make your bed. I'm not embarrassed about my house, but I'm embarrassed to have somebody else do that. So if they would say, no, this is the program, this is for you and not everybody else. So maybe in transitioning, these groups should be more clear about what we should expect from them. Okay. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was thrown in this and I just learned today things that that's an old boy. Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question and then we're gonna kind of jump in and talk to some of the experts in the room.
Yeah.
So, and this is a big question. If you could change one thing about your experience accessing services, what would you change?
As a caregiver through the VA.
Yeah. Or two, just as a caregiver, yeah. or any services that you utilize. If it's only the VA, it does.
Or our training. I guess the only thing is that, like, I can always do the same thing, is that we're so overwhelmed with so much. If we could have a line, that famous line where the person will direct us, so that we're not doing 36 numbers and get to the right place, because we did not know. It was in the book at page 373, but you know what I'm saying? So
Like
you're a
better-
caregiver, this is A, B, C, D, the number, this is what you do first. If you are out of thing, call me this number.
Where is your Terrible. Thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate you sharing with us today.
Well, thank you very much, and it was my pleasure to be here.
All right, so we are going to go
Thank you, I'm sorry for being late.
Okay.
Just thanks.
So we're gonna ask some of the experts. So we have Jessica, Marjorie, and Caroline here. Could you each just take 1 to 2 minutes just to share about what your organization does and your role within it? Jessica, I'll start with you.
Okay. As I mentioned, I'm with Aging in Place North Carolina, and we are a team of certified aging in place specialists. This CAPS designation is issued by the National Association of Home Builders. It was created in conjunction with input from healthcare experts as well. What we do is we come in and we do home safety and comfort assessments. So we look at how well the home environment supports an individual's ability to remain there safely, comfortably, and independently. So we look at things like the entrance, stairways, hallways, just making sure making sure that the environment adapts to the individual. Because we know most homes were not designed with longevity in mind, and accessibility is an increasing issue, not just for older Americans, but anybody who's got mobility challenges. What's also important to note is that we provide some guidance around what resources and programs may be available to help veterans pay for these necessary modifications. Things like the HESA, Healthy Home Improvement and Structural Alteration Grant, Special Housing Adaptation, Specially Adapted Housing. There are a variety of programs that are available that too few know about, but we like to help people steer them in the right direction.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it over to Marjorie.
So I'll try to keep this very high level because I can get into detail when it comes to EDF. But so the Elizabeth Dole Foundation was created, of course, by Senator Elizabeth Dole while she was caring for her husband, the late Bob Dole. While she was there at Walter Reed, she noticed the needs of caregivers that were caring for their veterans and their families. And in all due senator's fashion, she was going to do something about it. So she created the foundation. From there, she started with policy. From policy, she created the Fellows Program, which is caregivers who represent each state around the country. We have about 328 right now who are advocating and supporting caregivers within their communities, and of course, helping change policy. From that, we have expanded into several different programs. The program I focus on is our resource navigation and financial assistance. And what that is that caregivers come to us, whether that's by an application online, through a phone call, maybe it's an email. And the first step that we take is we're going to have a conversation with them. Once that conversation starts to begin, we peel back the onion. What is the root cause of your issue? Is it financial? Okay, let's take care of the financial issue. Now let's look at these other issues. Is it navigating the VA? Is it navigating benefits? Are you needing help with mental health support? And we're going to connect them to the resources that they need. And once that's done, we make sure these are warm handoffs. We are going to follow them and have a 30-day follow-up, check in, make sure things are going well. And then from there, we're going to check in every 6, then 9 months, then up to that year, just to make sure that that family is getting the resources and support that they need to be able to be a thriving caregiver. And of course, if you take care of the caregiver, you're going to have a well cared for veteran and family members. We have several other programs within the foundation. We have a mental wellness program. We have our peer support, which is an online community where caregivers can connect with other caregivers. We have different groups that are out in states, so that way they can connect to caregivers within their states. We're constantly providing education. We have our economic mobility, which is educating our caregivers on financial wellness. We're starting off with a new financial wellness boot camp that will start next week. Trying to think of anything else that I might be missing. We do support pre and post 9/11. So regardless of era, they are accepted into EDF, as well as they do not have to be, because a lot of people think that they have to be a caregiver within the VA system in order to qualify. No. And a caregiver can come in very different forms. It can be a brother, a mother, a spouse, a friend, an aunt, an uncle that is caring for a veteran or service member.
Thank you. And over to Caroline.
Thank you so much. As Marjorie said, I'll try to keep this very high level because we could talk all day, couldn't we, about everything. So I, again, am with the Durham VA Caregiver Support Program. The VA Caregiver Support Program is a national program. So this is offered at all VAs across the country. I work in the program of general caregiver support services that provide supports and education to veteran caregivers. We also have another program that you might have heard referred to as the stipend program. That is called the Program of Comprehensive Assistance for Family Caregivers. Like a lot of things I'm sure you all appreciate at the VA, things have different criteria and eligibility that are tied along with it. So that program is uniquely for veterans who are already 70% service-connected disabled with the VBA in order for them to apply with their family caregiver. That includes, as the name suggests, a caregiver stipend or payment on a monthly basis for the care that that caregiver is providing the veteran in the home. It also comes with a few more resources that are not available to general caregivers, like virtual psychotherapy, travel reimbursement, legal and financial planning services, enhanced respite care, and a few other services. Essentially, though, at the VA Caregiver Support Program, our intent is to take care of our veteran caregivers' health and well-being. So we do that through both of those programs. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to our speaker. I have taken a few notes down myself while you were talking so that I could drop a few helpful links in the chat, but I'm absolutely available from anyone in the audience to answer any questions about some of those questions Aline had about VA services.
Thank you, Caroline. And I always do a follow-up email, so I'll include any helpful links in that email as well. To any of our experts that want to answer this first, while Aline was talking about her experiences, did anything stand out that mirrors things that you've heard in your work as well?
I would say yes. We hear a lot from our caregivers that it's really hard to find the resources and to navigate the VA because the VA offers so much great, programs, but really pinpointing what's available to them is really hard. So we hear this a lot. And the one thing that I can say for EDF is that we have started, we have a new senior case manager who actually used to work for the VA. And she is on full time with us to help caregivers navigate the VA. So that way they can get connected to the programs for their veteran and for themselves. But yes, we do hear a lot of that.
I think I would agree. This is if you would have that line, that direct line for caregiver help, and then all these people that can help, they could tell us, well, don't worry, we'll put you in touch with somebody, or call that person. They will, solve your problem or at least help you to put all this together.
Yes. So it sounds like, yeah, the Elizabeth Dole Foundation's resource navigation services would be an excellent route for a caregiver to go as a step to find what all is available. Was there
I would
anything else that's okay?
Yeah, Landry, I was just going to add that we do have a VA caregiver support line. I know Aline mentioned it'd be nice to have one place to call. We actually do have that. I would refrain from using the word hotline just due to the fact that it is not 24/7 like the Veterans Crisis Line is. It is during business hours, I believe, at this point. But I've dropped the link to that number if it is helpful as well.
Thank you. Was there anything else that stood out specifically from Aline's experiences that anybody in this room has seen in your work? Kind of opens it up. Yeah.
Val, I just try to be real direct because a lot of people don't have time for BS and understanding stuff. But one thing that stood out from her story is if she gets hit by a bus tomorrow, all of her knowledge, all of her experience with her husband, with that veteran community goes out the window. It's not retained or passed on to the next generation. And kind of I know what folk rehab and VRE and peer support does, is when you come to the program, you're not just giving someone randomly, you're paired up with somebody who they think is going to be a good teacher for you as well. Because you can give people education, you can give them resources, but if you don't put a warm body with that person to encourage them and be there for them and be a cheerleader, and she said very early on, if she had more support early on, what if there's another Eileen, maybe lives a block over, they could be doing dual events together. So that's what I see a lot is people think that they're unique. And then they get into that community, they realize there's so many other people with the same issue. All you gotta do is just raise your hand. Thanks for letting me share.
Yeah. Healy, do you go to the caregiver peer support group? Pardon? Do you attend the caregiver peer support
When I
group?
can,
Yeah.
that's another big thing when you can, because if it's evident, at a certain time I can say, okay, this is nap time, and I've done 2 or 3 and I was really impressed and I was really pleased with it. They do rebreathing and then the women talk together and we share all the same problem, higher or lower, whatever. But the problem that we have is the time.
Yeah.
It's constant. So if I don't have anybody to stay with my husband, I know it's gonna be 2 hours at least plus the travel. I'm done. So, and then lately they were not here. So when I heard that you guys were here, I said, oh, we be able to catch a couple. Cause it's it was very, very good. I really loved it. But that's the only problem, the time limit that we have. So, yeah. There are things we won't be able to solve.
No, I do love this idea though of the peer support, like, because the VA caregiver team, they host these caregivers peer-to-peer groups quarterly here at the Joel Fund. And so we've been able to see the impact that those groups have on that community. And there's an interesting idea of like maybe even just being paired up. I don't know if that happens, but I keep going back to my mom's situation, what she went through with my stepdad, where she was just kind of coasting along. And that's why I honed in on that transition period, because she was coasting and then all of a sudden it was like the bottom dropped out. And it was there was a transition period, but she didn't realize she was in it. And so, knowing how maybe she could have been adapting the house to maybe keep him home longer or to do certain things so that she could have time away and to be with people and because he was unfortunately, I say was, but he's now in assisted living, but was not one of those nice people. Like he was awful to her. And so just the emotional trauma that she also was dealing with was really, really, but then it was, so I love that idea of, could the peer be someone who can give advice along the way, be the person maybe you call. I don't know how this works. So I hope I'm not saying something that can't exist. But having a person, that can then help through the process too, that, you can call or give you some clarity on a resource. Okay, hey, I've got this list, but I need this very specific thing. I need someone to install a wheelchair ramp. Who do I call? Or, things like that. Just some thoughts.
The emotionally also a stranger that will be there at the end of the line and say, don't feel guilty,
Yes.
because it's like a psychologist, really, that we don't have time to go. We are our own psychologists or our friends. With our friends have a tendency to always say, oh, you're fine, you're fine. So that line, for me, it was okay when they call. I was thinking about that the other time when they call them, they're so desperate, these gentlemen or these women. They have a voice that can support them and say, or I will put you okay, you're doing fine, but let me put you in touch with, and they know right there. I don't have to go on my book, which brings that in. So yeah, that would be great. That
You both have brought up an interesting point about the transition to becoming a full-time caregiver. I want to ask Marjorie and Caroline if you have noticed a point in which caregivers find your programs, and is it once they become a full-time caregiver, or is it earlier in that transition process that they're able to find you?
I would say for us, it's a mix of both. So we have had caregivers come to us that are pretty far along in the process, which have really never had any support. And we've been lucky enough to be able to get ahead of the game and to support caregivers who are just coming into that journey. So we've seen, I say it's a pretty good mix of both.
I would agree, Marjorie, for us as well. And I would be remiss if I did not mention your organization's inclusive care initiative to better help VA providers recognize in those patient encounters, is there a caregiver in this room? So that they can refer even to their own resources within the VA. But I agree, we do see quite a bit of folks who are maybe more in the middle or even towards the more, advanced stages of caregiving. Probably those in the earlier stages are less and few and far between.
Wonder, get some clarity on that. Dive more into the programs just to help everybody in the room understand eligibility. So Jessica, I'll start with you. If there is any eligibility requirements for your programming, or just what it looks like to get that assessment and modification.
So there's no eligibility for our assessments. There are eligibility requirements for programs that veterans may be eligible for, like the HISA, like the special housing adaptation, especially adapted housing, and there's the temporary relief adaptation as well that can be used for veterans who are staying with family members that may need to make adaptations. So the HISA program, it's a health benefit, so it requires a clinician, or the money can be used for medically necessary improvements to a home. These programs also do have caps to them that change year to year. The SHA and the SAH programs are more major improvements and projects to the home, and that is if you're a veteran with a service related disability. So depending on the severity, that would make you eligible for either the specially adapted housing program, which is the more severe, or the special housing adaptation program, which is less severe, so the cap is lower. But these are some great options for people to consider. A lot of it is just people don't know what they don't know.
Wonderful. And is it statewide? Your services or state?
Cool. So our services, so we serve the Greater Triangle. Yeah. Currently. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah.
Marjorie, are there any eligibility requirements for those receiving your services? Any like veteran service eras or length of service, anything like that?
We're pretty wide open. So we we're trying to serve our 14.3 million caregivers that are out there. We just had a RAND study. So the one thing that we ask for documentation is either a DD-214 If they're active and caring for a service member, we just ask for an ID. You can also provide your award letter that you get from the VA for being in the caregiver program, whether that's the general or maybe the stipend program, or even a VA benefits letter. As long as we can connect the service, of the veteran to the caregiver, you're good to go. That's our eligibility. So
Perfect. Thank you. And then Caroline, same question over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for both programs, let me start there. For both programs, the veteran needs to be enrolled in the Veterans Healthcare Administration. So they're welcome to maintain a private sector primary care doctor while they're getting their care at the VA, but they do need to go through eligibility and enrollment with the VA and need to be connected to our healthcare system. It might also be true that they're assigned to a care in the community doctor through the VA, but they have to have gone through that initial process. So for our caregiver stipend program, the program of comprehensive assistance for family caregivers, there is heightened criteria for that program because there is a formal application with it. That veteran needs to be at least 70% service connected disabled, and they need to also meet some clinical eligibility criteria, which I won't get into the weeds on this call. The website is in the chat. But activities of daily living and or supervision and protection need to be a need of the veteran. For the caregiver, there's also some criteria, but it's much further down the line in the application process. We do ask that they go through a caregiver training as part of the application process.
Thank you. I'm just going to open it up for any questions from anybody in the room or online to ask any of our experts or ask Aline.
I had a question. The caregiver support group that is quarterly, can we do that virtually? Is it only in person?
It's only in person.
Okay.
I love that program because they made us really think about ourselves, the breathing and everything, and I thought it was fantastic. But it's so far apart because some will be able to go that day, some will not. So a little bit more of them. It was, and you also realize you're not alone in this. There's worse than you, and they're better than you, but we all share the same thing. We're caring for someone. And this program, I didn't participate a lot because I couldn't, but it was wonderful. It's great.
Brooke, may I tag on just a little bit to that?
Yes.
I wanted to just mention to the group that we also do have a virtual psychoeducational support group within our program, but it is not peer-led. And I do know that that is really the secret sauce, as Aline was mentioning, to have that fellow connection with your caregivers. I also just wanted to explain a little bit about the context of maybe why we can't be right at Rollsville every month. I believe we're serving about 27 counties in North Carolina right now under the Durham VA catchment area. We have about 3 staff members that have a clinical caseload and also do a lot of the groups and classes that we're referring to. So, and I know Marjorie mentioned kind of the same, statistically, it is just so much ground to cover. We do our very best to give everybody in the Triangle area and Greenville an opportunity to maybe get a group or two over the course of a year to have that chance to meet in person. And I know personally, I'd love to expand out towards the coast or Cherry Point, Morehead City clinics as well at some point in the future. I'm still very hopeful about that too. But thank you for bringing that up.
Andrea, I did have a question, and you were like reading my mind on a lot of the questions. I was like, oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. But seeing potential for our veterans, for spouses, for loved ones, for whomever, is the first call we make when we say, you're slowing down a little bit. Is the first call VA caregiver support? Or what's that initial, like, I'm having to take too much time off of work? What is that trigger that says call, and who is the call made to?
Do our panelists talk on that?
So I'm happy to take that question. I think some of the things that you were describing definitely sound like caregiving to me. I think if you ask yourself, am I taking a lot of time off work? Am I doing some things outside of my normal routine for someone else? Absolutely. And I know not all veterans qualify for that caregiver stipend yet, even with the things you mentioned, right? But that's why we have the program of general caregiver support services. We can be really flexible with our criteria. There's no payment attached. There's no application attached. We can get you included in some of those groups, like Aline was mentioning with peer support. We can still help you navigate the VA healthcare system. My goodness, there is a lot to know. I'm not sure there's even a VA employee that knows every single thing about the VA. We all have to work so collaboratively and as a community. And that's why I'm so grateful for the other presenters on the call today. We don't do this in a silo. We are heavily reliant on the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. We are heavily reliant on the Joel Fund. We could not have our groups if we were not opened the doors to your space. So just making that initial call, if you're feeling some of those things, we will do our very best, not only to connect you to the VA, but also to any community resources too that we are aware of that could help you in your local area. We'll do that even if you don't enroll. We are available for consultation, so please call us.
Do you have any last questions before we do some updates? All right, well, thank you so much, Aline, and thank you to our experts that joined us for the conversation and just everybody that came in today to talk. Does anybody have any updates or events that you would like to share? What? Oh my goodness, nothing happened.
I think I got it. I understand it. Shares are awesome. Chapter 530 of the Vietnam era veteran, their organization had about $100,000 in grant money that they want to spend on if you've served between 1959 and 1975, you would qualify. From what I've talked to them, it's like anything from food, utilities, your first and last month's rent. Now, I think they want to spend about $1,000 per vet, so it's not going to probably cover everything in some cases. But if you know of homeless or someone at risk of being homeless or whatever that is from that era, go to Brooke first because all my information. I've only been here a month. I'm sorry, I'm not established yet. But if you get word to me, then I can get you the forms, just DD 214, just confirming that, hey, yeah, I served in that era. It doesn't have to be in country, anybody that served during that time. So yeah, that's
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
It's huge.
Is there like a page for this or?
Oh no, this is completely off the cuff.
Did Brenda and Sam give you this information or?
So Max and Sandy, I went to First Watch, and when
yeah,
and he said, hey,
perfect.
this is what we're looking to do.
Yeah, we have. Thank you.
Good.
Very good. Is it the whole state?
Whole state.
Okay.
Yeah, great enough.
Anyone else want? Anyone online have anything to share? Must be because it's the summer. Yeah, he's doing it. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say, I'm sorry, Gary. I just want to say that this has been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I'm so glad that I attended and I was invited by Landry. And I say that because my dad was a Korean War vet and he suffered with dementia. And we struggled with whose turn is it? And it became overwhelming at times. And just to hear that these resources are out here now, oh my God, it warms my heart. So thank you for what you're doing, each and every one of you.
We're so glad you're here, Eric. Just a couple announcements from the Joel Fund. If you've been following along, we're still doing our 50-50 raffle, which is crazy. We're about to reach $12,000. So, if you want to get in and potentially split that jackpot with us, tickets are on sale. Our next drawing is on Thursday. Also, Operation Art Fall Session 1 registration is open. I believe next month we are opening up registration for Fall Session 2, so we are already thinking about the cooler weather. Our next Veterans Coffee Connection is July 22nd with guest speaker Adam. Yay! We're very excited. And then on August 15th, we're shaking things up again for our bi-monthly recon event. We're going to be focusing on resources for military children and teenagers. So this will be very different for us. We have a summer intern who is a military child, and she has done this kind of work for a few years. So she's kind of heading this project, and we're really excited to be sharing these resources with our community. But that will all be in the follow-up email, and then if you have any questions about anything, just reach out. So thanks everyone for joining us today. We'll go ahead and wrap up.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
See you
it's very
soon.
nice meeting all of you. And thank you for your great work.
Thanks.